Everybody, how's it going? Mr. Beatles Pro is here with another video. This video is going to be a recap of my take on the Chicago Fest for Beatle fans, which was the weekend of the 11th and 12th, last weekend, from the time I'm doing this video. And I bought a few things, not much. Explain why as we go along here. Hopefully this video won't be too long. But usually the Chicago Fest is at the Hyatt Regency O'Hare, and it was again this year. And I always check, there's a convention center next door, and I always check the convention center to see if there's any other things going on the same weekend. And it turned out that it was like a fan expo, like a Comic-Con type thing going on, cosplay stuff. So I knew it was going to be a zoo around there. And so my brother and I left way early because it doesn't start till like 5 on a Friday. We left way early. We were actually in the parking lot and parked by 12:30. And I guessed right, because by 3 o'clock there was no place to park in that immediate area. You were walking, you didn't have a choice. So we just hung out and tailgated until the fest opened at 5. So, you know what, we went in and there was a huge line to get your tickets and stuff, at 5 o'clock when it opened. And we decided to sit off and wait, and the line obviously wasn't as long as we thought it was. It only took maybe 15 minutes and the whole hallway was clear. This was on Friday. So, personally, the crowd size I didn't think was all that big. So, we got our wristbands because we do Friday, Saturday, and so forth and so on, and walked into the marketplace where the vendors are, the dealers. And, excuse me, there wasn't hardly anybody there. They filled it out by using author tables. People selling their books and stuff like that. There was really only, I'd say, 3 vendors that were selling, say, original memorabilia stuff in that room. And one of those is, I call him the crook from New York, and that's no disparaging thing on anybody from New York, but he's insane what he's asking for stuff, but he's there every year. So, we walked around and it didn't take but 20 minutes to get through there. Then we went over and checked out Jeff Augsburger's museum room, who he sets up his collection every year. And he sells some stuff, and usually he is what ends up bailing out that part of our fest, in reference to buying, stuff. And he did not disappoint us, I will tell you that. He also had a meet and greet later. Well, I'm not even going to get into that yet. But I had the pleasure of meeting Caitlin Larkin. She came out to Chicago. Got to talk to Kid O'Toole a little bit. Usually watch her on Talk More Talk. We had set a schedule, my brother and I, to to get some stuff, done and all that. And the one thing we wanted to do Friday was get Patty Boyd's autograph. And we walked over there early, got in line to find out that you needed a ticket. So we got a ticket number. And then a certain individual who runs the fest decided to come over and change things up, and then told everybody to come back at their designated time. They wrote a bunch of stuff on the board. So everybody left, and my brother, being my brother, panicked a little bit and ended up going back. So long story short, we get up to the door within 3 people Friday night, and it was 9 o'clock, and they ended it. So they basically said that if we came back the next day, because there was 2 signings on Saturday, that we would be the first to get in. It's like, well, that kind of screwed the Saturday schedule up, you know. So one of the things I did pick up when we finally got in there on Saturday was Patty's new book, which I don't usually buy books or magazines, but while we were standing in line, they had the pictures rolling on a screen, and there were some really good pictures of George and Eric and stuff like that. So I decided, what the hell. So last minute decision, as I got up there, I went and decided to buy it. But just real quick, I'm not going to go through the whole thing. But there's quite a few pictures in here that I personally have never seen. You know, so, but she was kind enough, and to sign it. And it's not a bad, it's a pretty good book, actually. It's not too bad. More pictures than reading. But the other thing I thought about this prior to the fest. And when I told my brother, he decided that he wanted to do the same thing. So I brought a piece of Beatles memorabilia with me for Patty to sign. And I'm sure anybody else that has one of these, if they go to a fest and she's there, will do the same thing. But I had her sign my Taiwanese bamboo plate, because there she is right there. Everybody's seen that pose. I'm sure you know that that's her. So I had her sign this, which is nice because it's displayed on a shelf with the other 2 behind me right there. So like I said, the whole Saturday schedule got thrown out of whack. We missed a lot of stuff. But we did finally get in there. Did make the auction, you know, saw a few music acts here and there. Like I said, we did a meet and greet for the Beatlebelia Facebook members, and in there, Jeff, the guy that has the museum, set up, you know, some snacks and some adult beverages and stuff. And inside that cooler, he had this. I don't know if you can read it, but it says, "Donut lemon me down." This is a beer from Michigan. And to tell you the truth, the beer's not bad if you like, you know, the fruity stuff. But I kept the can because I thought it was cool. Plus, I'm trying to locate the beer. And then, you know what, in my opinion, attendance was down again. Obviously, the vendors were. From talking to people, all the newer people that really haven't been there before or have gone in the last couple of years, thought it was fantastic. You know, but like I said, they weren't there for all the older Beatle fests. But that being said, I do have a couple of things here other than those 2 that I showed you that I picked up. But I've been looking I have one of these, but I wanted a replacement because mine's a little beat up. But what it is This came from the Chicago American newspaper in the 60s. And Chicago American did a series of like rock and roll musical acts on posters in their newspapers every Sunday. And if you want to read it, go ahead and pause it. But I've had one for years, but it got all frayed and I had cut the corners off, and so I was happy to get that and replace it. And then Gary Astridge, my brother, picked these up. It's a little Ringo Starr peace sign magnet. These, never owned any of them. There's a set of 6 of them. And a gentleman there had 5 of the 6. And these are not cheap by the imagination, but his price was actually low. Hemmed and hawed, went back on Saturday. There was only 4 left. Somebody bought one. So told my brother, I said, let's split them. Chances are we're never going to get all of them anyway, but at least we can get a couple of them. But the Yellow Submarine they made some keychains. And I don't know if you can see them, but they're hanging in my closet from the ceiling. You probably can't see them. But I have the 4 guys and the sub, but there was a set of 6 round ones that were all the baddies. And picked up Jack the Nipper and the Blue Meanie. Like I said, there's a set of 6 of these. My brother got Jeremy and the Snapping Turk or Apple Bonkers, I forget which one. So that kind of opens up a little window, I guess you could say. And then thanks to Jeff and the stuff he was selling, I was able to finally get, and this is original, you know, like I said before, trust your dealers, and I've known Jeff a long time, and I've already covered it, but I picked up a Beatles color card box, and I don't have any of these. I don't have, but he had it. I couldn't resist it. I bought this one. My brother bought the guitar jewelry brooch box. And then last but not least, and from what I understand, this is pretty rare, especially to get it intact and not without a repro card. But I don't know if how many of you have seen this, but it is the assignment and note, like school book. And this card is the original card. And then on the inside, it has these. Lesson assignments and notes. And on the classroom notes, I thought this was cool. Somebody wrote down Beatle jokes. And it says, like, what would you do if you found a beetle on your arm? Patty, I'd twist and shout. Somebody wrote these down. Say, Ringo, how come you're so sticky? I tried to take a swim and some whack filled the pool with jelly babies. Yeah, somebody made this stuff up. But they made these, and they also made big essay notebooks. But I don't see these come up too often. So I was really happy to pick this up. So with that, I think that is everything that I picked up at the fest. Like I said, really wasn't a crowd. They can call it what they want. You know, if you're going to the fest, means different things to different people. And in our case, that was before the internet, our outlet to buy this stuff. So that's pretty much dried up, with the exception of a few things here and there. We get lucky every once in a while. But all in all, you know what? We still had a blast. We're still debating about next year. We'll see what happens. I know the dates are already announced for New York, which is February 9th, 10th, and 11th. And they're also scheduled for Chicago, believe it or not, on August 9th, 10th, and 11th. So who knows? We'll see what happens. But with that being, I'm going to end this video here. I appreciate you all sticking around. And we'll see you on the next one. And I lost my remote. Peace out, everybody.